And investigating in my video will be a robbing of the house. The point of entry was an attempt through the doorway, but the door was locked, so they actually attempted to break the window, and the window was broken. The first thing that will be done is to take an image of how the window was broken and to check if there was any broken glass in the area. If the glass shards were big, then the big ones would be placed in a box, while the small ones would be placed in a coin envelope or a little pill bottle that's airtight. And this glass could possibly be found on one of the victim's personal belongings, which could be used as evidence and potentially be tested for fingerprints. The second piece of evidence that is going to be investigated will be the vase that was taken off of the pool table outside to break open the window. And the vase was not broken, but the pieces should be collected. The piece should be collected so it can be tested for fingerprints and DNA, because there was a piece of hair actually found on the vase, which could be anyone's hair, but it could detect. They could detect it to see who the suspect is. There were also blood stains on the vase, and there were blood stains on the counter near where the window was broken into. These bloodstains could have been from the window being broken into, because obviously the broken glass could cut open the hands of the robber. And to collect this evidence, you could swab the area with a clean Q-tip, or if it's on something like it will be later, you can take the entire piece and bring it to the lab to look for evidence. Another piece of evidence that we will be examining will be a footprint impression that was made over here near the gate during the exit. The footprint impression was into the ground and into the mud, and if it should be closely examined, and many images should be taken of the footprint, because it can show the shoe size, the type of shoe the victim was wearing or the suspect is wearing, which can potentially show the age or the gender of the suspect. This footprint impression, since it was in dirt, just as when an impression is done in dirt or snow, it can be casted. Dental stone is actually the current casting material of choice, and is usually mixed with water in a large Ziploc bag and poured over the impression. And it can be pretty time consuming, but with specific instructions, it can be a very helpful way to secure evidence. Another important part of evidence that the suspect left was there was a pool towel that was used to try to clean up the blood from his hands and from the counter. So the pool towel, it was used probably to try to clean up the evidence as well, even though it was left here, and it could be collected wearing gloves and to avoid contamination, and sent to the lab to see if there's actually a match in the blood that is on here and on the counter, which can be very helpful in the process of finding out who the victim is. The way of exiting, it was through the window. So since it was through the window, they were able to open the door from the inside, and the alarm was turned on. So when they did it, the alarm went off, causing them to leave the scene very quickly, which is when they left the footprint, and they exited by jumping over the fence. First things noticed by the scene is the open door, which kind of shows how when the suspect was leaving the scene, they left the door open because the alarm went off, so they had to leave very quickly. I think, I'm pretty sure the reason that they left very quickly is also the reason that they left the vase and the bloody towel to clean up the evidence, because they heard the alarm and scattered. And the alarm triggered the police to come, so they wanted to leave the scene as quickly as possible.